how training's been going and what your focus has been like in training between jumping in the 100 meter, and any thoughts about doing the double in Rio?
Well, the schedule for Rio is going to be completely easy compared to this weekend. The 100 is going to be first, and there's a good 3 or 4, maybe even 5 days between the 100 and the long jump. So I'm happy that this difficult trial is past me. But the last 2 weeks, and frankly, the entire outdoor season has been a little bit of a struggle as I try to find my stride and rhythm on the runway, having switched coaches and things not being too perfect. But in the last 2 weeks, I went home, my husband and I made this major mental change and focused on the actual schedule, and then basically modeled each of my workouts after this training schedule. So I would literally take 6 jumps, warm up, take 6 jumps, and then walk over to the 100 start and sprint. So I have been doing that almost every day for the last 2 weeks. So I was mentally and physically prepared for this weekend.
Great, Jonathan.
Apologies if this was asked earlier, I got here a little late. Tori, how do you feel about third place?
I'm extremely thankful. I'm on the team. I mean, I've been waiting 4 years for this moment ever since 2012. I said today, no matter what happened, I mean, I'm going to walk away with my head up high. I'm going to be thankful. I have another race to attend to this weekend. I'm running 200, and I'm extremely excited about it.
Any more questions right here?
English, can you just go through your race? How'd you feel about it? How'd you feel about your start? All that.
At the start, I felt like all 3 of us pretty much were even. Usually I'm used to coming out of the blocks and kind of being in front and getting caught. But this time I had to kind of be patient in my movement. And one thing my coach kept saying in the back was, you just have to execute, stay in your lane. So for me, it's just trying to, I got out the blocks. I try to stay as comfortable as possible. These 2 ladies are the most fierce ladies we have in the United States, whereas they don't back down. They're not scared of anybody. And that's what I love competing about them, is because they always give the best race they possibly can. And so I knew it was going to be a wire-to-wire race. So if I just kept my composure, we would just see what gamble I came out at the end. No, of course.
English, you mentioned getting in the car and crying last time. Could you describe where, was it right away or just what that was like at that time?
2012, I just remember not being ready for the moment. I was the only college student in the final. I looked around, I was still in awe that I was standing next to Carmelita Jeter and Alison Felix and Lauren Williams and all those big names. So I really wasn't ready, and when I crossed the line and knew that I didn't make the team, knew that I probably wouldn't be considered in the relay pool, it broke my heart. It was something that I wanted since I was 9 years old. And so for now to be able to say I'm on an Olympic team, regardless of the place that I took today, is just a pure blessing in itself. And I'm grateful.
So you went from here to the car?
Yes.
English, could you speak to the semi and how that set you up for the final, any adjustments you may have made, and how you felt after that final, semifinal rather?
Man, to be honest, in the semifinals, Tori was in the first seed and she popped off with a 10.74, so I was like, I can't let her get all the shine, So it was definitely a very friendly, competitive moment there, I knew that she was going to go out there and run something fast, and I knew that, to be able to have myself comfortable in my position, that I had to go out there and just perform as well. And so it's always good when someone is the first match, and she lit the fire, and it definitely gave us a good round of series in the semifinals.
Right here.
Tiana, I know it's immediate, but to soak in the enormity of the accomplishment. I mean, obviously yesterday was, but now that you're on this podium, you're on this team in 2 events. I haven't looked that far ahead at the Olympic schedule. I'm sure you know it by heart, but just how empowering is it, to know that you're doing something that very few men or women have ever done in the United States?
One of the mantras that we've really been drilling into me over the last 2 weeks was that I have to conquer myself. And one of the things that I studied between jumps and between rounds was that conquering myself is the only victory that truly matters. And when I walk away from the long jump or I walk away from the 100, I have to be proud of myself and know that I gave 100%. On the other hand, it was so fine-tunedly executed and planned out the way we were going to handle this meet that it was almost like a checklist, just done, 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 done. And so I am extremely proud of myself, but at the same time, as a professional, I'm like, it's finished. I did what I needed to do.
This question's for each of you. Can each of you speak about your fitness levels here for the trials compared to like where you were at the U.S. Championships last year, and how you're planning your peak and your training relative to getting through the rounds here and then getting through the rounds when you get to Rio, and what you may have learned from last year's experience?
I'll go first. Training's gonna change, you know. Made the team at 12 o'clock tonight. It's over, and it's on to the next 3 rounds that I have. So I'll definitely start going back up with my training, get back in the weight room. Just try to prolong my season as much as possible. I feel like I'm in really good shape. My coach told me before we even got to U.S. Nationals was, you're gonna feel good at U.S. Nationals, but I'm gonna make sure you feel great at the Olympic Games. So that's the goal, is just to get out there, give everything I have in my training, practice every day with purpose, just like I've been doing since the fall. Nothing changes, nothing's different. My mental is still the same. As Tiana said, all we have to do is beat ourselves, and so if we can do that, then it'll be fine.
You can raise your hand, we're going to mic it to you. I'm sorry, right there.
Tori, take us through your race and how did you feel in the final compared to the semifinal?
Well, you know, I feel like in the finals, I didn't run my race. It was more of, you know, seeing these ladies out in front of me and I'm just popping up instead of continuing to execute my drive phase. So I know that I did wrong today, and that's one of the reasons why I'm content. I mean, we get another try in Rio.
Anybody else?
Sorry, you asked each of us to answer that question.
Yeah.
So I'm going to answer her question. Last year, I was not prepared at all as a sprinter. My sprint mechanics were horrible, and we basically did a 10-day blitz Hail Mary to see what would happen. I ended up running 10:94. I don't know if you've been following my season this year, but it wasn't looking good either until this week. I opened the season at 11:23, only to run 10:78 today. I opened the long jump at 6:61 and jumped 7:02 yesterday. And it really comes down to, like we've been talking about today, your mental preparation, your execution. I was telling my husband earlier, what I really love about this sport is that physics does not care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're having a bad day emotionally. All you have to do is execute, and the results will be there. And so we have about 5 weeks to get ready for the Olympics. I will take a look at the jumps. I have some work to do. Brittany jumped huge, and I'm not inclined to let that slide to me. And I'm looking forward to having fresh legs in the 100 as well. So I'm really excited about the month to come.
And Tori, can you answer the question as well? Can you answer?
Could you repeat it, please?
Let's talk about your fitness.
Oh, the fitness level.
Your fitness level.
Oh, you know, I feel like I'm in quite the best shape of my life right now. You know, strong as I've ever been, fast as I've ever been. But like these ladies continue to mention, it's a mental thing. Like when you go on that line in the finals, and I feel like I didn't bring it in the finals, you know? And it's a learning experience. It's a learning experience, and have to take it and roll with it.
All right, 2 more questions, so we'll go here and there.
Forgive me if this was posed to any or all of you in the mixed zone or earlier before I arrived. I know from now until Rio, and obviously in Rio, the first priority is getting yourselves right individually. But for any or all of you, can you assess when you look at 3 10.7s and Jen at a 10.8 and the depth that you guys have, and how excited you are about the relay prospects for this group when you finally have to work together?
Our relay is going to be nasty. I promise you that.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see what happens. I was just telling English, I don't even know if she heard me, like, this is the first time that I'm really looking forward to relay camp because it is hard. We are individual athletes. We're trying to get our own individual medals. So sometimes it's hard to come together and be a team and then have to switch it up and then try to kill each other the next time we're on the line. But I really look forward to challenging that world record with these ladies.
Absolutely. Like, one thing I like to point out is that the 3 women that you see up here, we're not enemies.
No, I know.
We are like
You
we
just want
legit off the
individual
track,
goals.
yes.
There's only
Off
one
the
gold
track,
medal.
We still talk to each other. Off the track, we are rooting each other on. I mean, before we even went out to the finals, I looked at Tori and told her good luck and let's go. So the team part aspect of the relay is going to be such more stronger than the years before, I believe, because we are actually, I wouldn't say we're besties, but
No.
we definitely are friends.
There's a lot of respect.
Yes.
On this stage.
And last question over here.
Yeah, I was just wondering, it sounds like a lot of the changes you've made had a big impact. I'm wondering if you could just talk about kind of what those changes were and what the timeline of when they happened this year.
Honestly, I apologize for this. It really sounds cliche, but my changes were strictly psychological because I did the work in the fall. I did the work in the meets, and it was a matter of just changing my perspective, changing my attitude, changing my focus, and really just taking a methodical approach to training. Like if I'm not doing something well on the runway, instead of hoping that it'll come together at a meet, I just started to work on those specific things. So we were very methodical, and then as we started to check those boxes, I started to feel better mentally, and then really literally came into this meet just knowing I needed to just be myself and relax into the performances, and they would be there. A lot the buzzword that John would say to me, my husband John, yes, was that I need to trust it. I need to trust in my training and trust in myself, and it will come together.
Is John your coach?